Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to Royal Black and Elite. Today's lecture is going to be all about the richest men who's ever lived throughout history. Now, some of us biblically think maybe it was Solomon. At least that's what I heard. But today we're going to also learn about Mansa Musa. He was known as the richest man to ever live, and he was a ruler in the Kingdom of Mali. I'm Lady TrenettWilson, your lecturer and social historian, and I want to thank everyone for joining me for Royal Black and Elite, where we teach about the events, the history, and the people that shaped Black America. I want to thank all of my Royalers, hi Royalers, for joining me. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. It says like a lot of you watch but don't subscribe. So we would love to have you in the Royal Black and Elite family. Now, let's get to our lecture today. Mali Empire was an empire in West Africa, and it existed from about 1226 to 1670. It began as a small Mandinka kingdom in the upper reaches of the Niger River, but look how much it expanded. So it included, countries like Senegal and Gambia and Ghana. So it really expanded. And under Mansa Musa, it was known as the Golden Age of the Mali Kingdom. Now, Mansa, I wanted to go back to his name. His name is not Mansa. His name is actually Kanku Musa, but the title Mansa was given to all of the rulers of the Mali kingdom. So Mansa means ruler or king. His name Kanku was believed to be his mother's original name. And so his name literally translate the son of Kanku. And Musa was the Arabic name for Moses. So Mansa Musa is how he is known, but I wanted to kind of break down his name a little bit. Now, there's really no clear date as to when he was born, but when he excelled to leadership, he was a young man, and that was around 1312. Now, his predecessor, Muhammad Ibn Qu, was said to have been lost at sea when he went on an exploration trip to the Atlantic Ocean. He never came back. Now, they said that he had 2,000 boats with him, but some say Musa actually got rid of him, and he did not get lost at sea at all, but he was dispatched with. And then that's when Musa went into leadership. So we don't really know, but all we do know is he was king. Now, we also don't know how much money Mansa was worth. So he was worth a lot of money, but under his leadership, the kingdom had at least 400 cities. They also sat on a gold mine. So that gold mine, they had salt mines, and they traded, and people gave them tributes when they overthrew their kingdoms. And so they raided a lot of people. Sergio Damian is the one who was talking about at the height of that kingdom, how many people that they had. But also, we know that Mansa Musa was a slave owner, and he owned a lot of slaves. His personal guard of slaves was 500 people just around his immediate circle. Now, how many of you have 500 people in your immediate circle? So he had a lot of people in his circle. And these slaves traveled with him when he went on his Hajj, or a Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca. It's important to Muslims to go to Mecca, and it was important to him as well. Now, he is believed to have went between 1324 to 1326. So it took about 2 years for the complete trip. Now, stories that came out during that time vary. Some people say he was real opulent in his traveling, and some say he was more modest in his traveling. He probably came in more on the opulent side because, as I said, their city sat on gold mines. Now, here are some of the artifacts and pictures of things that were unearthed during excavation. So this is how we know this time period existed. This Mali kingdom existed. It's kind of hard to hide 400 cities. So I think a lot of what we see in the movie The Black Panther was really modeled after this Mali kingdom. Everything made of gold, everyone rich and beautiful, strong. And so, really great story. But it is sad that they practiced slavery. That's why, slavery didn't go to other countries. Why do you think they didn't go to England, or they didn't go to the Middle East, or they didn't go to China to get slaves? They went to Africa because it was built up. It was already modernized. So that's why we were intelligent, we were strong, but we were not one. And that is where we see like the Mali kingdom who practiced slavery. Now, it is said that he took 12,000 slaves with him. They were all wearing brocade and they wore Yemen silk, and each of them carried a 4-pound gold bar. And their heralds were also dressed in silk, and they also held gold bars. It is also said that he had 80 camels that he brought with him, and they each carried 50 to 300 pounds of gold dust. And Mansa Musa gave out this gold dust and gave out this money all the way during his pilgrimage. He fed everyone who was with him. And so he would give out so much money. And when his entourage would get to a particular city, they would spend so much money and give so many gifts that it drove some of the people's economies down. One place, Egypt, it said the value of gold went down and depreciated for 12 years. So that's how much money he had. He went through Cairo. And on his trip, what he would do is he would get like philosophers and scholars, astronomers, all kinds of people. And he would ask them to go back to Timbuktu with them because he was trying to build a Muslim learning center. And we'll see that all the way through. He built mosques. They said he built mosque every Friday. And so by the time he left, he had done great cultural growth, had enriched many people on his trip. Now, his wife did go with him. It said that his wife was with him on this trip to Mecca, and her name was Anari Conti. But she also was called Musa. Musa Kita is what she was known as. And she brought with her 500 serving women. They also had a son, and his name was Magan, and he took over after Mansa Musa's rule. Now listen to this. They said when he left Mecca, excuse me, when he left Timbuktu, he took 18 tons of gold with him. That would be about 1.39 billion dollars today. So just imagine going on a trip and taking $1 billion with you. The crazy part about it is he took this money, but by the end of the trip on his way home, it took him a year to get home. Now he divided up the groups, so he sent some of the gold with the group that he had divided. They left in October. And while he was on the trip, many of the people started passing from being ill, from starvation, and bandits stole from them while they were on the road. Because guess what? They had heard about this really rich entourage who was traveling, so they stole from him. Now, he was still a king, though. Don't get it twisted. By the time he got back to Timbuktu, he was right back to his wealth. Now, it is said that, he borrowed for some of the merchants on his way back. Some say he paid the money back, some say he didn't. But he felt like, listen, on the way through there, when I was going to Mecca, I made your country rich. I made your city rich. So I'm not fit to keep giving you money after I had already given you money. You were basically giving me the money that I had just given you. So they had to sell the stuff even that they had bought. on their way to Mecca. So it was something else. But he did get home. He got back to his money, and the news spread of his wealth so much that places like Venice and Granada began to do trade with them. Now, look at this beautiful mosque. This mosque still stands today there in Timbuktu. And here, in Sankor is another educational and cultural place that he built. And so that's why he's known his reign was the golden age because he truly built up the Mali Empire. It's believed that Mansa Musa passed between 1332 and 1337. He was pretty young when he passed, but his legacy is for sure. So, had you ever heard of King Midas? Did you know it was a black man? How much did you know about Mansa Musa? I had heard of this really rich man, but I didn't know these details. Like he had 500 people in his inner circle, that he took 12,000 people, that he was worth more than $400 billion. A lot of the information, my source, I got from Muhammad Kati. He was a Muslim scholar, and he wrote the book Chronicles of the Seeker. Another source that I used also was Wikipedia and blackpast.com. So I thank you for joining me. I hope that you learned a lot. I always appreciate you spending some of your day and some of your time with me. Don't forget to sign up for our history class so you can join us and learn all about the Royal Black and Elite. I really do thank you, and I'll see you on another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe, and leave me some comments about Mansa Musa. Thank you for watching.